Status off.
Can you see this car?
Oh, hold on 2 seconds.
Yeah.
8 hours. Okay. All right, my notifications are off, so no one. Okay, so we're live. Okay.
All right. Can you see that car?
Yeah, I saw. Well, I saw the Austin, the other one that's on the table, the desk there.
Yeah. Austin signed both of them for me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Pretty cool deal.
I met him at the 2019 ARCA race in Daytona. They were having a like they called it a selfie booth, so you could wait in line over there in the fan zone and get your picture taken. He had a few people. So I came up to him with my son, and he was nice to us. He was nice to my son, and he even recorded a little video for my mom. They're like saying, "Hey, Becky," because she went to the 2018 500 with me, and we watched him win, and the significance of the 20 years from Dale Sr. winning the 500. So she became an Austin Dillon fan. So that was really nice of him. I feel like a personal, like something like a photo or a personal message is way more personal than just an autograph.
Yeah, I agree. No, they're good guys, man. I know Austin personally. I got his phone number in my phone. He's a good dude.
So can we interview him?
I'm trying to get him and another guy, pit crew member, Paul, on the on my show. I'm gonna try. We'll see what we can do.
Okay, so we've been live for 2 minutes and we have 0 viewers. So I don't know. I don't know how that works, but that's not a good sign.
So is it linked to your messenger?
No, it's linked to my main profile. Let me see. Yeah, I got no notifications that. Hey, Chris Rice just liked my tweet on Twitter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What'd you put on there?
I said congratulations to Matt Collig and Chris Rice for announcing they announced they're gonna and this is gonna be in our news section, but yeah, they're running a cup team next year. We're gonna talk about that later on. So I don't know if this is working, but let's just start the show. This is the 2488 podcast with my new host, and you use your actual name, right?
Yeah, Alan Steele.
Alan Steele. Alan, you want to introduce yourself to everyone? I know you a little bit, but my viewers are not going to know who you are.
Yeah, so my name's Alan Steele. I grew up in Talladega, Alabama. That's what led me to get into racing. I'm a 13-year pit crew member from back in the day. It was a Hooters Pro Cup. I started there, then moved up to the Truck Series, won some races in the trucks, and then moved on to what was the Nationwide Series, Busch Series. Did some races for Hendrick Motorsports there, and then was lucky enough to get on a Cup team. And then in my career, I ended up doing it for 14 years. And then the rule change after 2017, a lot of us lost our job because they took the front carriers out. I'm sure you're aware of that. Why they did it.
No, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, well, it used to be 2 carriers. Now it's 1 carrier the Jackman puts on the right front and the left rear. You see what I'm saying? So it was to save money, they say, but who knows what it was. But a lot of us lost our jobs. Some of the guys kept them, but I mean, I could have stayed working in the shop, but if I'm not going to the racetrack competing, it's just my mentality. I don't think I could have kept going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I love working in the shop, but there's just something about going to the racetrack, being around fans, interacting, that competitiveness, jumping over the wall. It just was in my blood. And once it was ended, I had to leave. You know what I mean?
And I'd actually like to do a full episode interviewing you. I'm sure you've
Yeah.
told your story, but just from that little intro, I had like 20 questions. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
but I'm not aware of the Hooters Pro Cup.
Yeah, it's a step up from late models. Then the Hooters Pro Cup series ain't even around anymore. I think it's some other kind of series, but it was a pretty good series. But you ain't making no money. You know what I mean? It's just.
Hmm,
And my first changer was actually a female, and she was actually really good.
hmm.
Her name's Randy Olson. I don't know where she's at now, but she was pretty damn good, to be honest with you. But our driver's name was Bo Slocum, which rest his soul, he passed away of cancer or leukemia, one of the two, young guy. And he was a hard charger. I mean, at South Boston going 4 wide, it's unheard of. And he probably would have won the race if I wouldn't have messed up and left the wedge wrench in the window. But my first race, I was nervous. I normally
Yeah.
don't get nervous, but stuff happens. It happens quick, and we got a penalty, and but he came back up and drove from last all the way up to third, almost won the thing. So,
Hmm. So, who have been some of your either favorite drivers to work for or most popular?
obviously at Hendrick, I worked for Junior. I was in the shop. I
Oh,
worked for Dale Junior. I worked for Casey Kane, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Mark
wow.
Martin was there at the time.
So I was around
Um,
2009.
I worked with Chase Elliott. Done a lot of
Wow.
stuff for Chase Elliott when he was coming up through the ranks with Hendrick. He was kind of like
Woo.
their developmental driver. Yeah, I see that. Uh, we won the snowball derby actually with Chase. I want to say Lance McGrew was our crew. I'm not sure. I can't remember, but Lance McGrew, who was Dale Jr.'s crew chief for a while, ended up
I
being
remember.
Chase's crew chief in the truck series. And I pitted
Oh,
for him quite a bit there. Became friends with him. He's a good kid. I mean, one hell of a driver,
yeah. Yeah, I actually missed out on the Chase Nation when it started. I had started having kids and I wasn't watching the Trucks and Xfinity series anymore. I was lucky if I got to watch Cup races. So
Yeah.
I didn't become a Chase Elliott fan until I want to say 2017. Yeah, 2017 Martinsville. Um,
I
with
was there.
that run in with Denny. You were there?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. In fact, it happened right in front of me.
Oh man,
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't. Sit and I agree with what you said earlier because that's it. That's how I feel sitting at home watching it. Now that I lived in Daytona and I got to go to all the events, it's
Yeah.
just not. It's just not the same watching it on
Different
TV.
atmosphere.
So different, and and the awesome part of that is when you take people that say NASCAR is boring, you take them to a race, they're like, "This is great. This is the best thing ever." So
Yeah.
that
You're
that's
still
that's
gonna
my.
have your wishy washy people that just don't like it, and that's
Mhm.
understandable. It's not for everybody, but if you really get to know the ins and out of the sport, it's actually really interesting. There's a lot of moving pieces that make it happen.
Yeah, so many.
But back to
Um,
your question, who was my favorite driver I've ever worked for? The funniest one I've ever worked for was Clint Boyer. With the 15 team at Michael Waltrip's. The most talented driver I ever worked for was Kyle Busch. Period, hands
really,
down. Yeah,
more than
most
Jeff
talented.
Gordon.
I never pitted for Jeff. I worked in the engine shop, so I kind of worked for all of them.
Oh, okay.
So most talented, and I'll say it to this day, he's still the most talented driver out there. He's a beast.
Yeah. I don't know how you feel if you. Yeah. Are you staying current? Watching like you watch every weekend still?
I try to catch him. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I don't go out of my way to. If I got something going on with my family, I'm I'm doing something with my family, because I didn't have a weekend for 14 years.
Right. You're
Honestly,
making up for lost time. Yeah, absolutely. No, so I just wasn't aware if you saw Las Vegas and saw that incident with him spinning the truck with a flat tire. There's a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of
I saw it.
controversy about that.
Well, haters are gonna hate, but he's looking at it as I don't want to go a lap down. I got a truck that can probably win this race, and I'd have done the same thing. But if you're not a Kyle Busch fan, you're gonna say, "Oh, he spun it out just to cause a yellow."
I was a Kyle Busch supporter. I was there for his championship, and him and I didn't agree when he went over to Toyota. He lost me those years, and then he got me back in 2015 when he became a father, because that was when I also became a father. And he did this piece on either Fox or whatever of when he made his comeback. It might have been NBC, but whenever he made his comeback, he did this interview with him about what he was going through with his injuries and becoming a father. And I had 2 ankle reconstruction surgeries, so I absolutely understood everything he was going through. And to see him talk about becoming a parent and how life changing that is, like, I was like, okay, I can support this. And then my nephew, who was real young at the time, saw me watching NASCAR and saw the M&M's car, and he, right, M&M's, that's my car, 18, He doesn't care about how Kyle Busch does in his interviews or if he drives like a jerk. He just sees M&M's on a car, and that's his favorite car. It's his favorite candy.
Yeah,
So I was, Kyle Busch. I was like, yeah, all right, I'm back on the Kyle Busch team. But after that move in Vegas, man, that's just lost a lot of like respect with me. It's not a cup race, because Truex just did it this weekend at Talladega. I don't know if he purposely missed pit road, but how do you miss pit road with a flat tire? I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. And then his tire comes apart and brings out a caution. So if it's a Cup Series, I understand, but you're not racing for points in the Truck Series. I don't think there's. People are trying to convince me that it's good for him being there, but I think it's part of why people don't go to the Truck Series or Xfinity anymore, and that's really sad for me, because the Xfinity Series has the best package, young, exciting drivers. Most of their races are pretty exciting. With the exception of Chase Briscoe dominating or Syndrick dominating.
yeah. Well, I've said this for years. You got 10 Xfinity cars that run up front consistently. You got 10 trucks that run up front consistency on a consistent basis, I should say. They ought to. I'm not a big fan of the Xfinity series cars. I didn't like pitting them. It's just my personal preference. The trucks are. I've always loved the trucks, so I've always said they needed to combine that whole series together. Take the top 10 drivers from Xfinity, top 10
Oh,
drivers from, put them together, make it one series. Because I mean,
and
you got,
then fill out the rest of the field with all those extras.
yeah, they're just starting parks. That's what we used to call them back in the day. They're just making
Yeah.
money. That's all they're doing.
Unfortunately for us, they're not parking anymore, though. I liked it better when they would park.
Yeah, they're just in the way now.
Yeah. So this is our Kansas preview show, and my new host, Alan Steele, and we're excited to get this going again. I haven't done a podcast since Bristol. Bristol Dirt was the last one, because a lot of people were excited about the dirt race. We tried to bring you as much information we could about on that, and honestly, I was really pleased with that race, the way it turned out. I'm just learning more about dirt and dirt tracks and dirt fans and all that is a. I don't really take my interest outside of cup racing because I have lots of other things that I focus on. I do racing is like my main, but I do have other things, and I have my kids too, so I don't. I keep it pretty much Cup Xfinity truck. Um, so I was pleased with the dirt race. I know there was some complications with the dirt and how to water the track and all those things. But the racing after that, just I don't know, man. I got Easter. We had the week off for Easter, and then we came back, and I've been going through some stuff, and just wasn't in the mood to do it, and I didn't have a reliable host to do it with me, co-host. So we got Alan here. I can't say that Phoenix and Richmond and even Martinsville wasn't that great. It was, and I love short track racing, and I didn't have anything to fill a whole episode with. So my question to you would be, what did you think of the Bristol Dirt Race?
It's unique.
Yeah,
I'm glad I wasn't there pitting. Oh, they didn't even have pit stops. You know what I mean?
no, not live ones.
Yeah. So I think for NASCAR, it was a good move to see where it was going to go, and they got a lot of exposure, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I liked it. I don't think Bristol is a place to really do it because all that dust, you can't see half the race. It's too enclosed, and now they're talking about putting a roof on it. I mean, it's crazy.
Mhm.
But
I think it's a temporary roof though,
yeah,
like
which
like that.
you don't have to worry about being rained
Mhm.
out or whatever, or being snowed on like we did one year.
Yeah, I remember that.
But all in all, I thought it was a really good race. You get to see who can really drive on dirt and who can't.
Mhm.
I think it was challenging. I think it was something a lot of people wanted to see the cup cars on dirt again. I think they got that itch scratched. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
I think it was good. I really do. I enjoyed it, but like I said, it's hard to see. You know what I mean? But from a fan's perspective, I think everybody enjoyed it. I know I
You know,
did.
yeah, this year just keeps throwing these wild cards at us, and Coda is the next one we're looking forward to. Um, I don't have high hopes for Coda, but like I said, it's another wild card, and it's preventing Harvick and Hamlin from dominating the season again with 8 to 9 wins. So I'm proud of NASCAR for mixing it up and keeping them on their toes. NASCAR has been in transition period since Jimmy Johnson started winning like 2 or 3 championships in a row. Ever since then,
Five,
they just started throwing
five in a
curveballs.
row.
Oh, no, but I'm saying it started once he got to like 3. By the time
Yeah,
he got to like
yeah.
3, they were like, "Okay, we need to change something because this ain't working."
But he still won them.
Yeah, he did. My thing with Jimmy is that I felt I felt as I took it so personally in 2007 after he won his first championship. He started to get into Jeff and move Jeff out of the way and shove and just acted like biting the hand that fed him. And I saw in an interview, he was like, "Oh, that was so great. I got to beat my mentor." And I'm like, "Yeah, but Jeff wanted to punch you out. Like, he
Well,
wanted."
here's the thing. At the end of the day, do you want to finish second or you want to finish first?
Yeah, no. No, I get that, but for me, I took it personally because I was diehard Jeff Gordon and Jimmy.
Understandable.
I did support Jimmy as soon as he started. I was a Jimmy Johnson fan, but after 2007 and then 2008 and then 2000, and then it just got worse and worse and worse. And I was like, these guys aren't even teammates anymore. And then Junior came over, and I was like, I was fully on board Junior Nation because I hated DEI whooping up on us on the restrictor plates. I couldn't stand it. Like, it made me sick to my stomach to see that. And I'm real young too at this time. I'm a teenager. So, um, man, I'm telling you, you and I gotta do just like a full history episode. This is supposed to be the Kansas preview show. We haven't mentioned Kansas once.
I know, right?
Already 20 minutes in.
That's the first one, man. We'll get in. We'll get in line here soon.
So I'm glad you let me have this conversation because I love talking about this stuff. I'm passionate, and you see, it's the 2488 podcast. Those Gordon and Junior were my two favorites, and it's been really hard without them. So now I've transitioned to Chase Elliott and love William Byron representing Exalta. I do wish DuPont would come back on the car. I think DuPont was just the greatest logo ever. And I'm really sad we just have that giant A now. It's not the same. It's not the same for me. But you were showing off, you were showing off I don't know if that's a man cave, it's a podcast, because you can plug your podcast as well.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Well, it's just it's my podcast room. It's a lot of things thrown in over the years that obviously my helmet, I don't know if you can see it or not, from when I was on the 3-car, coins from when I was in the military, my rings from NASCAR, just different stuff in here just to make it what it is,
So which 3-car were you on? Austin
Dillon's, yeah.
The Xfinity or the Cup car?
I was on the 2 Xfinity and the 3 Cup car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
we won. Wow. In fact, I was on it in 2016. We won California in the Xfinity car. But
cool.
Yeah, I wish I'd have stayed on one more year. I probably would have won the Daytona 500 with him. But
yeah,
it is what it is.
You had a 500 ring there, I saw.
Yeah, it was Jimmy.
Oh, okay. Was that 13 or 06?
13. I was at the 06. I just came back from Iraq and went to the Daytona 500.
Oh.
Literally got back from Iraq and went to the Daytona 500, and Jimmy won it. That's crazy.
So you got to be there as a spectator. You weren't working yet, right?
Yeah,
you weren't working
absolutely.
in the industry. Oh, okay. So who would you say then is your like you'd say is your favorite driver? If mine is Jeff Gordon, yours would be
right now to watch or my all-time favorite?
Yeah, just like all time. Yeah,
Darrell Waltrip.
Oh,
that was my hero.
Going way back.
And as you said, what, your nephew or somebody liked Eminem's car? Mm-hmm. Well, this was the car that got me into racing right here.
I can't see it. Is that the Tide car?
17 Tide car, yes.
17.
And the reason why, because I thought the car was beautiful. And that was my hero, man. To this day, he's still my hero. I've told him at the racetrack many times, and maybe one day I'll have him on the podcast.
Yeah, I tagged him on it in Twitter. I don't know if he'll see it. Michael Waltrip likes a lot of my Instagram stuff, and he actually follows me on Instagram. I don't know if he still does.
Michael's a cool dude.
I was pretty surprised by that. So you worked for him then, right?
Yeah, I was at Waltrip's for 2 years.
So what's that like having a boss? Michael Waltrip boss.
Oh, Waltrip's was one of the best places I ever worked. I wish we never would have shut the doors. Yeah, it was great. It was an amazing place to work, honest to God. I loved it there. And when Rob Kaufman said we were shutting the doors, oh man, it was not a good day. That place was by far amazing.
I liked everything they were doing with Toyota development. I liked Truex because he was a Dale Jr. progeny. Who doesn't like Clint Boyer? I mean, I I didn't like some of his RCR cars, the way they looked visually. Like I preferred the 33 to the '07. The
Yeah.
33 just made more sense to me visually. Um, but yeah, man. Um, I've only had the chance to wave at them. You actually you worked for Michael. So do you have a story you can share about Michael Waltrip?
I gotta. Yeah. Well, Michael, he's just hilarious. I mean, he's the guy that would come in the gym out of nowhere and just start working out with us or getting on the treadmill running. He wasn't like an ass, you know what I mean? He's a people person.
Yeah.
So he'd come down to pit practice, talk to us, or just passing in the shop. Hey guys, how you doing? Hell, when Walters was shutting down after Homestead, me and him drank a little cup of beer together, going to the
Really?
plane. Yeah, and I was like, man, thank you for the opportunity here. It was.
Wow.
I told him I was like, this is one of the best places I ever worked, and you could tell he was sad about it, but stuff happens. I wish it never would have shut down. It was. I'm telling you, one of the best places I have ever worked in my life. I'd still
Better
be
than
working there if it was
better,
still open.
better than Hendrix.
Yes, for
Huh.
me. I don't get me wrong. I loved working at Hendrick. I did. I absolutely did. But I got to do other things. You know what I mean? I got to do other
Oh.
things while I was at Walters. I got to be on a show there. I got to do commercials with Michael. I got to do all
Oh.
this stuff while I was there. We did a thing with Rutledge Wood.
You
Some
should send
TV
me some of
shows.
those commercials.
Yeah, I
You
did
should
a
you
commercial
should
with Richard Petty. I did an Avocare commercial with Richard Petty.
you should
We
post
did
those.
if you go on YouTube, look up Michael Waltrip Racing Life in the Pits. I did that whole skit. I mean, the whole both pit crews did. It was amazing. I mean,
Hmm.
as long as you performed, nobody was messing with you. You know what I mean? It was a great time there.
Hmm.
And it was sad because I mean, it was hard for me to leave Hendrick. I'm working in the race shop, pitting the 51 car at the time. Actually, I pitted for Austin Dillon then. And I knew all these developmental guys were coming up. I was never going to get a shot on one of the cup cars. You know what I mean? So it was like, and then I got recruited to go to Waltrips. It's like a fresh start. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
it was awesome. It was awesome. The guys were great. Never had a complaint about any of the dudes there. Welcomed me in with open arms, and the rest is history, man. It was great. It was great.
That's so funny, man. What you said about Michael Waltrip. Um, I just watched his Blink of an Eye documentary,
Yeah, it's
and
pretty. It's gut wrenching.
I tell you that the poem, or I don't know if you call it a poem, whatever that was that Dale Jr. wrote about his dad this year, whatever he wrote and he did that little segment, that didn't choke me up. But Michael Waltrip sitting at the start finish line, and that one got to me.
Yeah.
That one hit me hard. So he's a great guy.
Oh, he is.
It was really interesting to learn the difference between Daryl and Mikey. Uh, you know, um, it's just so interesting to learn these stories. And you were right there, smack dab in the middle of them. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was. I tell you, man, it was. I wish I'd have took more time to realize what I was really in. You know what I mean? You
Well,
know,
how can you with that demanding schedule though? You go on to the
yeah,
next
it's
one, on to
it's so
the next
fast
one.
paced that now that I'm not in it, it's like, man, people would pay astronomical amount of money just to be where I was, and
Yeah.
here I was making an astronomical amount of money to do what I was doing.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It was
Do the
cool.
job you love. Yeah.
Yeah, it was my dream since I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know?
I was sitting. I was stuck working in a deli for 8 years. Like, and back then smartphones were just starting to come around. But back then you couldn't watch cable on your phone. You couldn't watch a race. if you weren't at home. So I'd be sitting there like hitting refresh on NASCAR.com that showed the leaderboard, like,
Yeah,
and
I know what you're talking about.
I'm in a supermarket full of people like, yeah, you want me to do the 500? And they're like, what is wrong with you? I'm like,
Yeah,
it's Daytona, baby.
yeah.
So that was me for that's still me. I'm actually my current job was an Uber driver, and sometimes I'd have to work on the weekends, but I would play the race either on MRN or on usually on MRN, but sometimes I'd have like my cable on in the background in a small screen, not where I could watch it, but it would play through the speakers. And
Yeah.
so my passengers would get in, and I'd be like, "Hey, just want to tell you, I apologize up front, but the race is on. I gotta listen to the race. I'm sorry, man." Like most of them
Yeah.
were pretty cool about it, but
Oh, I'm sure.
that's that's just me. If I could be there, I would be there, and when I'm not there, trust me, I'm there in spirit.
Yeah.
So we're half an hour in. I have
And we have yet to talk about Kansas.
no sponsors to plug. Otherwise, I would do a sponsored plug here. But we can plug StreamYard because StreamYard is bringing us this platform, and it doesn't seem to be working out tonight in my favor. But I don't know how
Any
it's
viewers
being.
yet?
Nope, still says 0. So uh, so
You need to
it'll get.
go on
What?
to your Facebook and send that link to that Facebook deal. Oh yeah, you can't. Or tell them to go on to your Yahoo deal or Yahoo YouTube channel or wherever you're streaming it live to. I don't know if I lost you or not. No clue what's going on. Guess we're on a little intermission. Drink water. Hey, you're back.
Okay, so I switched over to Facebook. Um, it's not showing up on there. It is showing up on YouTube. So I shared it from YouTube to the daily page.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we'll see if it starts coming in now. I guess, like you said, StreamYard was having difficulty linking to Facebook or something.
Yeah, I saw it earlier. I saw they put that they were having technical difficulties and they're trying to work it out. It's not like they have a bad vibe with each other, just something in the deal's messed up and they're trying to work out the kinks.
Do you have your phone nearby that you could look at my profile?
Right
Maybe.
here. Yeah. Go under Okay, I'm under it. What you need to do is go on your Facebook and tell them you're live on YouTube and tell them the link to your YouTube channel, and then you'll start getting viewers. I promise you.
All right, but it's gonna like so it's gonna say that I'm gone, but then I'll jump back in like I just did. Okay. All right. So just give me 2 seconds.
We know what we ought to do.
Okay, man. So I posted it on my wall. I shared it to my daily group chat, and it's in the daily group as well. But I'm worried that people will if they don't understand that it's happening live right now, they're not going to click on it because it just says YouTube. So they might just think it's a YouTube a YouTube video, so they might not click on it. There's one. We got one, our first viewer.
It's me.
Dang it, man.
It work. But yeah, I just looked at it, and as soon as I clicked on it, it went right to the deal.
There's two. So there's our first official viewer. Welcome to the 2488
What's up?
podcast. You're only 40 minutes late, but let's get started.
Well, we can start it all over. You know what I mean?
Well, they can watch the beginning later, and we already lost. Oh man! All right, so yeah, I'm definitely not starting from the beginning. We're gonna start with stage one, your Kansas show, but I did want to talk about the missing the previous weeks and just not. I wasn't that. I didn't have much to say, and if I don't have anything to say, then I had nothing to say. So this week was Talladega, and I was supposed to do a preview show last week, and didn't go the way I wanted to. My co-host didn't show up, and I wasn't going to host another show by myself because I've had to do that too many times. So I've got a few topics here for Kansas. You know what? We could ask you, since you're my awesome producer / co-host now, what would be your favorite part Kansas?
My favorite part of Kansas, the barbecue. No, from a racing standpoint.
Well, what is so great about this barbecue I keep hearing about?
Oh man, Kansas barbecue, you can't beat it with a stick, man. It's so good. I mean, you got Texas barbecue, you got Kansas City barbecue, you got Carolina barbecue, but I love Kansas. I used to live in Kansas, so.
Oh, okay.
When I was in the military, so yeah. Okay. Barbecue's good, but as Kansas Motor Speedway, I just love the track, man. It's fast. It used to come down to fuel mileage. I don't know if it's going to do this weekend, but I honestly believe it's going to be a pit stop that's going to win the race.
Yeah.
It normally comes down to that. And I really enjoyed doing pit stops in Kansas. The pit stalls are pretty big. The fans are a little closer to you. You know what I mean? It's not a mile and a half away from you. You know, you can see people in the stands. It's you see people waving at you. See all the hot girls in the stands or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just motivating things like that. You know, the military's there, so a lot of people from Fort Riley come in, and that's where I got out of the military. So for me, it was like going home. You know, even though I didn't grow up in Kansas, I was stationed there 2 hours away. So soldiers that were coming from Fort Riley, I had a connection with. You know, so that's why I like the place. But I really truly believe it's going to come down to a pit stop. I do. So
Would that did that have anything to do with your friendship with Clint Boyer, that you guys were both from Kansas?
actually, you know, no. What's funny is I snuck into Kansas Motor Speedway with my uniform on my last year in the military, and he's the first autograph I got, and he was actually an ass. He was actually an ass to me. He didn't want to sign it, and I'm like, all right, whatever, dude. And it's on a big Winston Cup flags. I got this flag somewhere. I don't know where it's at, but he signed it. But I was trying to get all the drivers to sign it. Tony Stewart signed it. But
wow.
Yeah.
Stuart, I've heard, is hard to get. You know, hard to stand in line and get a signature from.
Well, I got a couple stories about Tony. I used to not like him because he was an ass to me at that racetrack in my uniform.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, dude, screw you, you know. But the funny thing is, and we're getting off Kansas again, but we're at
okay.
Dover.
You can talk about drivers all day.
So we're at Dover. You know, it's a bigger Bristol, really. And we're sitting on pit wall right before the race starts, and I feel somebody grab my shoulder, and I'm kind of sitting. The stands are to my back, so I'm facing the infield, and it's hot. It's grueling hot, and I feel the shoulder. Somebody grab my shoulder and sits beside me on pit wall. Well, it's Smoke. You're like, what's going on, man? What's going on, Smoke? Like, it's hot as hell out here, ain't it? I said, yeah, yeah. So I don't remember what else we talked about, but we go back on pit road. We go back up on pit road for the national anthem. Well, he's behind me, and I'm standing there, and next thing I know, I'm on the ground. He kicks me between the legs from behind. That's Tony Stewart. He's always messing with people. So he's laughing and giggling, and I'm trying to get back up. And lo and behold, it ended up being one of my best races on pit road. So
because you were fired up.
I don't know what it was, but make a long story short, the next weekend, I don't remember where we were at. I go up to him. I'm like, dude, you got to kick me in the nuts again, because that was my best race, you know. And we laughed about it, but that's my Tony Stewart stories. Ended up being good friends with him, you know, before I lost a lot of respect for him because the way he treated me in my military uniform. And I didn't even want his autograph. It was for my mom, or excuse me, my dad. He was a big Tony Stewart fan. I'm like, man, this dude's but he signed the flag for me, but he was you know what, but
yeah, I've heard that. Actually, the first time I ever laid eyes on him was 2017, and he's leaning against the RV, and he's about 40 yards, 30 yards away. Not that far, but he's to the point where I can't walk up to him. It was kind of like a respect thing. If you weren't supposed to be in that area, if you weren't a driver or anything like that, then you should just hang out there. So I was hanging out with the other friends respectfully, and I'm just like, I'm laying eyes on Tony Stewart for the very first time, and I'm like, hey, Tony! And I swear he had the sunglasses on, but he burned a hole through my head, glaring at me, and then turned back to the person he was talking to. I was like, man, that sucks.
Yeah, but he's a good dude, man. He really is.
He was so angry that I just I was like, "Hey, it's Tony Stewart."
Yeah, you gave him
I,
away. He's
I,
trying to be low key.
I don't. There was only three of us standing there. I mean,
Yeah.
so I, and then um, and then the other time he was on stage and he signed a bunch of stuff. But he did sign this one special thing. I don't remember what it was exactly, but he did sign one special thing and made sure it went to this little kid or something. He stayed around to sign extra stuff, but threw it out randomly to the
Yeah.
crowd and then ran off. But so yeah, we're getting off topic, way off sidetracked. But it's awesome because I love hearing these stories.
Oh,
This
I
is
got a
so
million of them.
this is so great, man. So if you were to call up Tony Stewart today, you guys are good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably remember my damn name, but he remembered my face,
Yeah. Okay.
which is understandable. I'm nobody. He's somebody. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But all I had to do was bring up Dover. He would remember.
I can't believe they didn't see that on TV or anything like that.
I'm sure there's a take of it somewhere.
Sure, somebody had a camera, right?
There's cameras everywhere. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. How many viewers we got?
Still one, and I'm not sure if that's your phone or not.
It's not me. I promise you. I closed it out.
It's up to two. Okay, so they're comers and goers, they're stragglers. But
Yeah, I'll need to stay tuned in. Come on now. Invite people. Share the link. Bring them in here. We need to get back on subject, though.
a lot of topics came from reviewing Talladega this past week. So sometimes to preview, I might review just a tad bit, um, or maybe I should save that for the news section. Maybe I don't know. We're playing around with this. Um, it would also be easier if I organized my notes, which I do not do, and I need to start doing that. So Kansas, looking at not looking at the. I don't know. I want to look at the point standings right now. Here we go. Active drivers. Nope, that's another news story. Brett Moffitt claims news. The weather. Here's your weather report for this weekend. If you're headed out to Kansas Motor Speedway, Saturday is mainly sunny, and Sunday is 34% of rain. An isolated thunderstorm may develop in the afternoon. That's not good news. So
No,
I would keep my eye on the local radar for that one. Um,
it's normal there about that time of year.
and the start times are 7:30 p.m. So that's a night race for the truck race on FS1, and Sunday is a 3 o'clock start for also on FS1. And the top five. I'll go out of order here. We'll talk about the trucks here. So I have the starting lineup that was released today. You can still hear me, right?
I hear you fine.
Okay, because I'm in Messenger, so I want to make sure I'm not like frozen up.
No, you're good.
Um, so you said you're a big fan of the truck series earlier.
Oh, yeah.
So what is your like what is your like for the trucks minus your hate for the Xfinity? Because I know you said you didn't like the Xfinity car, but you didn't say like what about it you didn't like. You said you didn't like pitting it, but is there any more specifics on that?
I just don't like the way the car looks, honestly.
Mm,
It doesn't look right.
it
And the
looks
trucks,
too futuristic.
yeah, and the truck series, I mean, they go all out, man. They really
Uh-huh.
do. If you ever watch a truck race, they're going balls to the wall. the guys that are running up front. They make it exciting. The race ain't 4 hours long. It's half the time. So if you don't get it right, you ain't gonna get it right the next 150 laps. You know what I mean? So there's, I just think it's a better racing, man. I really do. Like I said, there's only probably 10 to 11 drivers that run up front, but the guys that do, they put on a good show. And they're fun to pit because you're only doing 3 or 4 pit stops at most, where Xfinity, you're probably doing 6 or 7. In the Cup Series, you're doing 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, possibly 13 stops. You know what I mean?
So I'm trying to look at, because you said about 10 guys run strong. Looking at 10th going backwards, I see some names: Matt Crafton, Tyler Ankrum, Derek Kraus, Christian Eckes, Tanner Gray, the new guy Chase Purdy. I don't really know how hard he runs, but Brett Moffitt is having a hard time in that 45. He's starting 26
He's driving
Saturday.
a junk truck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I found out their affiliation with GMS ended, and that's what suffered. That's what Nice is suffering right now. Their trucks are just not competitive anymore. And I was looking because I heard on Door Bumper Clear that it could affect his thing. See, this is news. I always work news into the. I I have no organization because my topics just all merge onto each other once I start talking about the drivers. So yeah, so I mean Grant Infinger is having a rough year, sharing his ride with Thor Motorsports. So he's in the 9 truck this week. Yeah, he made a great run in that 9 truck. I can't remember, maybe you know where it was, but he made a great run in that 9 truck for being in being in not top
Underfunded team.
equipment. Yes.
Yeah.
And Ross Chastain is making an appearance in the 44 Nice truck this weekend at Kansas.
He'll run
So
good.
Um, and Ryan Reed makes his return. I remember reading about that. He's making his return in the Truck Series. So,
I think he ran Talladega, actually.
Did he really?
I believe so.
No. The trucks were off last
Or
weekend.
the Xfinity. I know I heard, or it might have been ARCA he ran. Remember hearing him.
Okay.
I heard him talking about him because I want to say it was Xfinity. I think he was in the Xfinity race.
I didn't hear about that, but I know he's listed here. He's starting 33rd. So we'll see. Your top 10 is Stuart Friesen. I like that guy. Zane Smith is my main guy that I root for. And I saw him last year pass Kyle Busch at Charlotte, I think it was. And I was like, holy cow, who's this guy that's passing Kyle Busch in a truck? Because he was a rookie. And, man, it's not every day you see someone pass Kyle Busch in a
You got
truck.
that right.
So that is my main guy. And he likes some of my stuff on Instagram when I tag him. I should have tagged him on Twitter. And then we got Sheldon Creed, Austin Hill starting 7th and 8th. And Sheldon's your defending champion. He had some sponsorship issues this year. I was sad to see that. How GMS runs that team is beyond me. When and the issues they had with Brett Moffitt, obviously, but then having your defending champion doesn't have a sponsor and a brand new, like a rookie kid has a sponsor. I don't understand that at all.
So how they backed that driver.
Yeah. If I'm a sponsor, I'd rather go with a champion than a brand new truck that has to prove itself. So Todd Gilliland does all right. He's starting sixth. Chandler Smith is making a good effort in the Kyle Busch Motorsports. But I don't really think I haven't really seen him be that impressive lately, but I can't really say that off the top of my head. I wouldn't bet on him to win a race here. If he does, it'll definitely surprise and impress me. And then we have Johnny Sauter fourth, Ben Rhodes third, and Kyle Busch is making another start. And we could have a whole episode arguing about how I think Kyle Busch ruins the Truck Series. But at least John Hunter will be out there, and we know John Hunter can beat him, or if he allows him to beat him, I'm not sure. So well, I mean, we saw that. I don't know if you saw that, but definitely Kyle Busch pulled down for the stage wins. I think it was Atlanta, yeah, and let him go by.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, your truck's going for a championship. He's not.
Yeah. Yeah, just I can't remember if Nemechek earned that win or if I don't think Kyle Busch let him win that race.
No, that's not Kyle.
No,
He's going to race him.
I wouldn't think so. So the current truck. This is good. Here, the current truck point standings is JHN in first, Ben Rhodes second, Sheldon Creed third, Austin Hill, Crafton, Friesen. Wow, Stuart Friesen is sixth in points. Enfinger seventh. Enfinger doesn't even have a full-time ride. He's 7 in points.
Wow.
And Zane Smith. So Todd Gilliland, Johnny Sauter, this Carson Hocevar guy, and Chandler Smith are the 4 drivers on the outside looking in, because I think Xfinity does 12 and trucks only do 8, if I'm not mistaken, playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't want to. I can speculate on Cup. I don't like speculating on the trucks unless Kyle Busch is running, and then normally I would say, oh, Kyle Busch is there, he's going to win the race. But like I said, John Hunter proved he can beat him. So
I think Ben Rhodes is going to take it.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's who I got my money on.
He is second in points. He's got those two wins. I have a friend of mine. He says he's working on a truck. I'm not sure if it's the truck series. He says we might be able to get Ben Rhodes on here. He was interested in not sponsoring us, but he was going to promote the podcast because he said he likes support. Like you said, you're here because you love podcasts and you were looking to help me kind of get mine off the ground. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'm really appreciating that. And we're at an hour. Do I need to wrap up for you, or how you doing?
I'm good, man.
You good? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, my son has passed out, so I'm also good. I was worried about that.
Oh.
I have here. No. We did the starting lineup. We did So now we'll shift from the trucks to the Cup Series going into this weekend. After an hour, we are now ready to give you your Kansas preview.
Oh, yeah.
You know what, man? That just shows that that we're good friends who love NASCAR, because we can talk about anything. We're already an hour in. We're an hour in, and there wasn't like 5 minutes of dead air. So
I know, right?
Other than me going through my notes and trying to share this on Facebook. The top five Cup Series wins at Kansas Speedway. There are 5 drivers. Only 3 of them are active, and they're all tied for most wins. And it's Harvick, They all have 3 wins: Harvick, Hamlin, Logano, Gordon, and Johnson. And that just shows you what kind of caliber racetrack this is when you see those. Those are Well, Hamlin isn't a champion, but he deserves to be, in my opinion. There were so many seasons where he should have got the championship. I consider him a Mark Martin type. He's kind of
Can
Mark
never
Martin.
close it.
He deserves a champion's respect. You know what I mean? He
Oh
deserves
yeah,
that level. Sorry.
he gets respect. I mean, he just can't ever close it out.
Yeah. And especially with this Final Four stuff. I mean, you're in the Final Four. That's you actually have a chance to go out there and get it, but you got to beat those 3 other drivers, man. You got to get it done. So, um, the Kansas results from last year. I wanted to look at the top 10 finishers because I'm trying to see who are we going to look for this weekend. Who's going to struggle. And this is a question I get a lot, Alan, is who's going to struggle, who's going to be really good here. So when I ask my fans, like, hey, what's your fan question? That's what they want to know. Who's going to be good? Who's going to be struggle? Who's going to have a hard time? Stuart Haas right now is in a really bad way. A lot of them, and I have the point standings here too. Other than Harvick, who's had a few good finishes, Almirola, Custer, and who am I forgetting? How am I forgetting a Stewart driver? Briscoe. Oh, that's why, because I don't like him. Well, Briscoe's a rookie, so the expectations were not high there. But
Yeah.
Briscoe, Almirola, Custer, they're all in the top 30 in points. But we didn't expect to see Almirola struggling this much. And Harvick is 7th in points, so he's hanging in there. But as far as performance goes, and I mean,
They're not where they need to be.
No, nowhere near. And would you say that's because they're transitioning to the next gen car, so they're not putting as much effort into making these cars competitive?
I just think they're behind the 8 ball, to be honest with you. Last year they come out with a boom. You see teams go through this. You see Gibbs, they're on a hot streak, and then the next year HMS, Hendrick Motorsports, has got an edge on everybody, and they're winning, and then Gibbs is behind. It's always going up. You know what I mean? And I think if you're not the thing about the sport is you figure something out, well, then the teams behind you are trying to figure out what you figured out. Right. And when they finally figure it out, now they're on the same playing field as you. And then going into the off season, they figure out something better, and then now you're behind the power curve. And I think that's what's going on with Stuart Haas right now. They'd be caught up in some wrecks like what Harvick did. I think even Almirola has been in some wrecks. But I think Kevin Harvick will probably pull it out this weekend.
You think Harvick is your pick to win this weekend?
Yeah, I believe it's going to be Harvick.
We started to get, because we have you can see we have over 1,000 followers now, but we were starting to get a lot of dead space, like dead air in our group, where people weren't active and they weren't participating in things. So we started a weekly poll where I allow everyone to vote on who their pick is to win. If not your favorite driver, then I would prefer that you say, like, oh, I think this person's going to win, rather than just picking. Like, I know my friend William, he'll pick Kyle Larson to win every single week. And I'm like, come on, this is not realistic. It's not realistic, man.
Yeah. Does Larson have a good chance? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but you can understand his racing style is, mile and a half. That's where he got most of his wins. So, um,
He'll be
you know, the,
strong.
um, well, he actually is my. That's the irony because he is my selection. No, I picked Joey. That's right. I picked Joey. I would say the Larson has the best chances to win because of his
Yeah.
win in Vegas. Which
Yeah.
to me, I run Vegas the same way I run Chicago and Kansas. So
Yeah, they're basically the same, but they don't
mhm.
even race at Chicago anymore.
No, I'm a little bummed about that because I was just starting to like that track.
I'm
Once
not,
I,
because it's three tracks that are the same thing,
that's
And
true.
Kentucky was just like it. I'm glad we're not going there, because Kentucky back in the day used to suck.
It
When we
still
go
does.
when we were in the nationwide series, it was terrible. Pit wall was this skinny, so you're up there, and it was like 5 foot tall. Not really, it was like 4 foot tall, which is higher than any pit wall. And you're trying to, there's nothing to hold on to. You're holding on to your changer. He's holding on to you, and if you jump too soon, then you got a problem. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So, well, then they reconfigured it and got the wall better, but it's just terrible. I hated going there. And then the first inaugural cup race there, the traffic was terrible. So
Oh,
it was horrible. They had to turn away, like, I want to say 20,000 fans, because the traffic was backed up for miles and miles and miles. I mean, we rode the shoulder trying to get from the hotel to the racetrack, and we're pit crew guys. We're on the team, and we're almost late trying to get into
wow,
the racetrack that we're trying to work at.
wow.
It was just a
That's,
nightmare getting out of that place.
that's crazy. You don't hear those stories when you watch it on TV. You're just like, oh, there's a race. It's over.
Oh yeah. Oh well, there's a race within a race trying to get back to the plane too.
I'm hearing about that. I think on the Dale Jr. download they talk about the race to the parking lot,
Oh,
and
it's
you
for
know,
real.
um, who was talking about having to wear like man, I can't remember. Someone was like, Dale Sr. taught them how to wear a disguise or put on like a plain hat with no sponsorship and
Yeah, to
just
get
try
out of
to
the
get out of
racetrack.
Martinsville. Yeah, Martinsville. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them do that because you got to come up. There's no underground tunnel. You got to walk across the track.
Mm.
So you're walking across. It was Ryan Blaney.
Oh, Blaney, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. You're awesome.
which I used to pit for Ryan Blaney. I pitted for his dad and him, which was real cool. But you got to walk up the track out the back. Well, it's actually the front stretch coming out of turn 4. You got to walk up the track because you park down there. A lot of them guys get golf cart rides, but some of them walk. And fans are right there. So imagine if you get mobbed by a bunch of fans, you're not trying to get home. You know what I mean? You've been there all weekend.
Yeah.
So a lot of them bring stupid clothes. They would try to fit in with race fans. You know what I mean? And the majority of them are drunk, so they don't even recognize them. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
so yeah, cool stuff. I mean, even as pit crew members, they're stopping you. They want to talk to you. They want to engage with you. How'd you get your job? How'd you get into racing and all this? And you want to talk to them, be like, man, I'm ready to get home. You know what I mean? Not
Yeah.
trying to be an ass, but it's like,
Yeah.
dude, I've been here all day. I'm ready to go home to my family,
Mhm.
get a good meal, go to bed, you know. So yeah.
The only time I talked to the pit crew after the race was Homestead because after the race they're at start finish line. The party's going on, so you're there around them just hanging out. Most of the teams have left already, so
Yeah.
I never came across someone that was trying to leave. But I would try to with my fan pass at Daytona. And this is a cool story about my first 500, and I could do a whole episode on my very first 500. It was 2007, and
Kevin
it's
Harvick
my
won.
yeah, and I'm in the I'm over there by the Hollywood Hotel, and I actually sent that picture to Jeff Hammond. I tagged him in it, and he liked it. He's like, that's really cool. I was like, man, I was like, I know you worked there, but it was my first time there, and I was totally freaking out to see the cutaway car in person. You know, I was just nerding out big time. So that was cool of him to like it. And so I'm behind Mark Martin's pit in the '01, the Army Chevy,
Oh yeah.
and his crew is, you know, they're doing their prep there, his guys, and I just think it's cool to be behind a fence and seeing these guys, and I'm like, hey, you guys take care of Mark today. Go get it done. Go take care of Mark and go win it. You know, I'm firing them up. I had no idea he was almost going to win this.
Finished second.
He almost won, and it broke my heart, but to this day, I love that I got to fire up his pit crew, and I was like, "Go get it done, boys! Go get them!"
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
us
such
crew
a great
guys,
thing.
we interact with a lot of people, man. There's a lot of there's a lot of cool dudes in the sport. There's some arrogant. Hell, how a lot of them probably say I'm arrogant. You know what I mean? And to an extent, you got to be. You know what I mean?
You're arrogant in a cool way, though. I'll give you that.
Well, I mean, when you're around other dudes, there's a lot of testosterone. You know what I mean? A lot of
Yeah,
people get
yeah.
attitude. You know, a lot of them say I had an attitude problem, but it is what it is. You know.
It's so competitive too. I heard that the pit crew members were like, if they were going to the restaurant, you know, it was like Days of Thunder. They were racing to the restaurant. Who could get to the restaurant first? Who could get to the team meeting first? You know,
Who could
it's
eat
like
their food the fastest and not choke to death? Yeah, man, there's tons of cool stories out there. I mean, there's there's stuff that goes on that people would be like, "What?" I mean, for instance, like when we leave Michigan, we used to be able to do this. You'd go out on the track, they'd come out pit road, and you'd get up on the banking in minivans and go as fast as you could to try to get out the backstretch. And I'm telling you, these minivans would be screeching through the turns. You'd hear the tires squealing, and it was fun. I somewhere on my phone, I got video of all of it. You know, you're taking a video and you're like, "Oh my god, this thing's gonna flip," but never did. But the NASCAR started getting strict on it because you got to think people are going out this way, we're going this way, head-on collisions, and so they started staging cops. You know, one here on down, so you can't you ain't running from a cop on there. They're gonna get you. So
yeah.
Pocono was another one. We'd go the opposite way and haul ass. I'm talking hauling to get to the tunnel turn to go out of the track, and it was cool. It was a lot of. But then, you know, I had Mike Trower on. He was a Rainbow Warrior. He was my last changer, and then this was a lug nut that he got done for me. I know you probably can't see it, but he's a really cool dude. He won a lot of Daytona 500s with Jeff, and he was telling the story on my podcast of how, and this is no joke, when you leave Pocono, there's a dirt road. It's woods, and you go through the woods, and at the end there's two trees, and you got to fit your minivan between these two trees and pull the mirrors in so they don't get knocked off, and then you're right on the interstate. Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it's crazy stories like that.
That's one noticeable feature about Pocono is when you're watching it on TV, you see the trees just waving over the backstretch.
My least favorite track in the world.
Mine too.
Hate it.
I cannot make it through turn one without wiping out and hitting that apron.
I hate it. And that now they go, it's a 2-day show.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah. They finally made that transition. I think that's better than doing two races in one season. I honestly, Pocono is on my list to skip. If I'm gonna miss a race, I got a wedding or something, Pocono. I don't lose any sleep over it.
Hated going there every year. New Hampshire, hated going there.
I hate New Hampshire too. That's funny. We have that in common.
Well,
I don't like New Hampshire.
them 2 races is going to rain. It's going to rain 90%
I
of
didn't,
the time.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, hated going them. Now, going to New Hampshire to do other things, like go out early to go to ball field, go to
Fishing, yeah.
yeah, it was cool. But as far as the racing one, I hated it. I hated it. I hated pitting New Hampshire. The pit stalls are close. It's just I don't know. Just nothing about that track I liked.
There's nothing good about it.
No.
Like that Kyle Busch Harvick battle they had a few years back was like the most exciting thing that's come out of New Hampshire in I don't know how long.
Yeah.
Do you do any virtual, iRacing or Xbox, any kind of racing like that?
I raced NASCAR Heat 5 on PS4.
I gotta switch to PlayStation, man. Everyone I want to race with is on PlayStation, and I find it hard to find guys to race with on Xbox.
Yeah,
But
I want to do the iRacing thing, but I don't have the time, man. To be honest with you, I really don't, and I don't want to invest a bunch of money in something that having kids. I mean,
mm-hmm.
I
No,
gotta play a
yeah,
video game when my kids are hollering for me.
yeah. I had to give up even racing online with Xbox because I was doing 3 different leagues. I was practicing for hours, and I put a lot of hours into it. So yeah, I I understand that. I just feel like me personally, that's my best chance to get any kind of recognition in the NASCAR community is if I can one day. And everyone is like, "Oh, go out and get your own late model and race at a local track," but I'm 6'2", so I don't think I fit in these little late models and these sprint cars, and
Well,
it'd be really hard to get me in and out of one of those.
yeah. Plus, a lot of them guys are 5'2", 5'3", 5'4",
Hmm.
100 pounds soaking wet. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Even me at
exactly.
230, 5'11", little different story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So I think if ever I'm gonna have like real success in a racing atmosphere, if I could race on iRacing next to Dale Jr. or Bobby Labonte one day, man, I would be just over the moon.
That was another thing I was going to tell you. I pitted for Bobby Labonte and Terry Labonte.
Did you really?
Yeah, yeah.
How'd you
Pitted
manage that? Is it
pitted
when
for
did you?
both Kurt Busch and Kyle Busch. Who else? Ryan Blaney and Dave Blaney. Trying to think who else. Pitted for Michael, but I didn't get to pit for Daryl. Daryl was my hero, but never got to pit for him. I wanted to. I was hoping he's going to come to the trucks, and I would have quit wherever I was working to go just pit his truck and to be done with the sport. But that didn't happen. But Terry Labonte drove the 32 fast car.
Hmm.
Frankie Stoddart owned it, and that was one of my first deals was to pit that car. So that was Terry driving that one, and then Bobby Bonnie come to drive the 51 car, the Hendrick. It was James Finch owned
Oh,
it,
yeah.
but we run Hendrick stuff through it, and Bobby drove it a race, Michigan actually. So I got to pit for both Labonte brothers, and then who's the other ones I said? Kyle and Kurt. Well, I pitted Kurt Busch when he drove the City Chevrolet car, the Days of Thunder car,
How did he drive that car?
because he was driving the 51 car,
Oh, he
which
put
was a
city
Hendrick deal.
colors on that.
Huh?
He put city colors on that. I don't
Yeah,
remember. I don't remember the 51 with a city sponsorship. I
it
know he
wasn't.
did
It
it.
was the Xfinity car. It was the one car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
No, I must not have
yeah.
seen that. I
We
don't
should have won
remember that.
Daytona with that damn car.
Well, yeah, I don't remember that.
Well, that was
That's
in 2012.
Mm. Yeah, I don't think I was watching Xfinity back then. I stopped in like 2011. And not by choice either. It was not by choice.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm going back on YouTube and I'm watching from 1993 forward, and then the more stories I hear on the Dale Jr. download, I started watching the Bush series as well, and then when I get to 96, I'll start the trucks, and I'm just gonna watch them all. Um, I started that last year during the pandemic when there wasn't anything to do, nothing to watch. I said I'm gonna go back and watch all those Jeff Gordon races that I missed because I
Wow.
didn't know it was happening, or I was too little. So I started watching some of those, and
A lot of races to watch.
well, I don't watch the whole race. I might watch like 20 minutes of the beginning. They get so strung out, and it's really predictable. They don't change positions that much, and there's a lot of single car domination. I learned real quick that if you're going to a mile and a half or anything that's wide open, Dale Earnhardt was going to most likely win. If you went to a short track, Rusty Wallace was going to win. And there's your Mark Martins and your Morgan Shepherds and Ken Schrader. Sorry, there's guys like that ran strong, but a
Harry
lot of it
Gant
is
Harry Gant
Eric.
run pretty strong in the short tracks.
He's retiring at where I'm at right now in '94. But those Bush races are short and they're pretty exciting. I
Yeah.
like those. Joe Nemechek runs strong in those.
Yeah, a lot of them
So
guys, David Green, a lot of them guys ran pretty good then. Kenny Wallace.
yeah, Kenny Wallace, real good. I heard he's really big on Twitter. I gotta follow him.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Kenny's real big.
yeah. I never got to meet him.
Oh, he's a
Uh,
cool dude.
yeah, one of these days I'm going to share my stories and we'll swap stories. Yours are more impressive, but I got a few.
Well, I mean, I lived in the sport for a long time, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a lot of crazy stories. You know what I mean?
So Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano won the two Kansas races last year, and your usual suspects finished in the top 10. Your Truexes, Harvicks, Bowman, Bush, Byron, and that was in the spring one. In the fall race, about the same, except Brad finished higher, probably because he was in the playoffs. And so I can't really go based off of the playoffs last year, but that's why Joey's my pick to win this weekend, is because he did such an incredible job. But then again, Joey's a clutch guy. He's a guy where if it's on the line, he's going to go out there and get it. So I feel like this weekend there's not much on the line, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Joey's gonna run up front. I'm gonna tell you that. It's a Joey kind of track, so I
Then
wouldn't be
again,
surprised if Brad don't run up there with him.
something just came to me. The fact that Joey got no points last week for crashing out in stage one, uh, he might have a little. He might have more reason to go out there and put a whooping on him. So that's another reason that I would pick him. If anyone's determined to go out there and make up for Talladega, it's definitely Joey.
Yeah,
Um, so
good thing it's still early in the season though. He can rebound from it.
and he's got the Bristol wind to fall back on. Of all the places,
Oh, that's
I,
it.
I, I,
Yeah, that's
I,
right.
of all the places I would have picked Joey to win, it was not going to be Bristol Dirt. Somebody won a lot of money betting on Joey that day.
Yeah, for some reason I thought it was Martin Truex that won that on dirt.
He won the truck race.
That's right.
Yep, he won the truck race, and then he came over to Cup. He dominated stage one, but he kind of fell off through stages 2 and 3, and then he had some trouble on the track, I think. And the thing I don't like Truex currently, but man, I could not take that. I couldn't take that truck run away from him. I just couldn't sit there and be like, man, he sucks. He's the worst. He's terrible.
No, he
And
dominated.
he, it was like his first dirt race. He's not a dirt guy, and he went out there and he got it done. He earned it, and
Yeah.
I'll give him credit for winning Sonoma, because Sonoma was they changed the course back to the old format, and so those drivers had never even ran on that configuration. So he I you know I mean I pride myself on running good on the road courses. My buddy and I, Daniel Shell, also known as Where's Waldo, he loves Watkins Glen for whatever reason. That's his Martinsville is his favorite track, but Watkins Glen is a close second. And him and I, for the last decade, have run Watkins Glen thousands of laps at Watkins Glen. And now that I'm using a manual instead of automatic, I'm priding myself on running road courses. So I give it to Truex with Sonoma. But
Do you run
looking
with a
at
steering wheel or just controller?
just controller for now, because I'm in a crowded space, and I just started racing online competitively last summer, so I'm still technically a rookie. I'm coming up on a year in online, and not even a full year, so I consider myself a rookie. If I ever get to a house, or an apartment anywhere where I have like a man cave or somewhere I can put things for just myself instead of my kids, I think I'd go for iRacing before I get a steering wheel for Xbox.
Yeah.
I feel like a steering wheel for Xbox is a little overkill, because I like I I started playing the EA Sports NASCAR games in the early 2000s. So I still like the feel of a controller and racing your buddies for fun and all that.
Yeah.
I would like to do iRacing professionally, where I get the steering wheel, the pedals, and then get the whole thing going. I wouldn't necessarily do that for Xbox.
Yeah.
Um, so So yeah, man. I can't really tell people who's going to be strong this week, but you are seeing with this new qualifying format that that the guys who are strong are the guys who are running consistently, finishing well. They're the ones that are starting up in the front, unless you had a bad week. If you had a bad Talladega. So we're going to see. Um, Austin Syndrick is making a cup appearance this weekend in the 33. I wished he had run at Talladega. I wish Noah Gragson had as well. I know you don't like the Xfinity series, but I'm really, I like Harrison Burton. I was there for his ARCA win in 2019 at Daytona, and that's why I became a Harrison fan. So I like Harrison. I like these young guys coming up: Noah, Justin Haley, Syndrick. So I would have liked to have seen all three of them or four of them go at it in the Cup Series and see which of the rookies could finish best. But unfortunately, we only got Harrison and Haley in there.
Yeah.
I was excited to see Gragson drive the 62, and I'm pretty disappointed that he didn't make the 500 and then didn't get to even try for Talladega. So I think Noah's got a lot of potential.
He's got a lot of growing up to do, though.
That's what I was about to say. I bit my tongue on that, but yeah. But
Yeah.
he's a cool guy. He likes a lot of my Instagram posts and stuff. So Larson is starting in the back, so that's going to be one to watch. Um, Logano is starting 29th, Larson 32nd, Bowman 25th, Kurt Busch 28th. Those guys are going to come charging to the front. And but as far as guys that are going to struggle, let's look up front. Bubba gets a good start this week in 13th.
He'll struggle.
Chase, huh?
He'll struggle. He ain't gonna
Yeah,
run up front. He'll run mid pack.
he'll drop back, and it's unfortunate, but that team and that car just aren't aren't competitive yet. They're almost there. Um, you can't just be a super speedway car. You gotta bring it every week. And I think the '95 Levine Family Racing, that '95 car was pretty competitive with Bell in it, and definitely with Matt DiBenedetto in it. So he's got, you know, I don't want to say he's got the same team. I think he's got a little bit similar or slightly better, but still needs more work. I think Suarez is going to have another top 15 finish, if not top 10. We're seeing a lot of tame races with minimal wrecks and minimal, and I'm not talking Talladega, I'm talking week to week. So you're seeing minimal wrecks, you're seeing minimal guys struggle, which is allowing um, these smaller teams to have good finishes, or even the teams like Stuart Haas, like we mentioned. So Priest is going to have a good run. Newman's going to struggle. He struggles. He's been finishing top 10, running top 10 lately. I don't think he'll finish top 10 this week.
I say
Cole Custer,
16th.
yeah. Cole Custer's, he's starting 10th. I definitely don't think he's going to get a top 10. You know who's been a pleasant surprise this year for me is Christopher Bell. I don't
Yeah.
know how you feel about that.
No, he runs strong in that 20 car.
He's definitely a one to watch. I would say he's kind of like he's already got a win on the road course. You could say that's a unique circumstance because it's a road course, but
No, but he did good. It wasn't like
yeah,
he lucked into it.
no, no, he went up there and he took it and he earned it. Um, he's got a great team behind him too.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
uh, but my point was that I was going to compare Bell to Byron, whereas Byron coming up to Cup, he ran strong but couldn't get the win until last year. But like I watch Byron, I'm starting to notice Bell as being that one to watch on a weekly basis.
Well,
You
I
know what I
think
mean?
another thing with Byron, he's got Rudy Fugle with him, which was his crew chief in the truck series.
Right,
So there's a lot of chemistry there, which Rudy
right.
Fugle was my crew chief when I won the championship with Eric Jones. And Rudy's
Where was
a
where
what's
was
that
that where was that championship with Eric Jones?
at KBM?
Oh, the trucks. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry,
And
sorry. I
Rudy,
I, I don't always know everything.
no, I understand. That's why I'm saying. And I think Rudy learned a lot from Eric Phillips. I don't know if you know Eric Phillips. He's a well-known crew chief. Was in the truck series forever. Went up to Gibbs, and I think he did some Cup crew chiefing too. But I think he's, I'm not really sure. But really knowledgeable guy. Or he might be back at KBM now. But I think Rudy learned a lot from Eric, and Rudy is a damn good crew chief.
hmm
He is the right guy for William Byron. They click on full cylinders. I mean, I would not be surprised they don't get a couple more wins this year together.
As a Florida boy and a Jeff Gordon fan, the fact that Byron won Daytona and Homestead as his first two wins, I'm just like,
Yeah. He's going to
my
win some
fa-
mile and a halves.
yeah, yeah. And he's starting second this weekend, so
Yeah, he'll be
he's
good.
definitely on my ones to watch.
Yeah, Rudy will have him right.
I would like to ask you if you would like to continue and do stage two, talk about a few news topics that we got released to the last couple days, or if you'd like to wrap this up tonight and then either tomorrow or Friday or whenever, just do
We
a
can keep
quick
going.
like news
I don't
story.
have
You good
nothing
to
going
go?
on.
Okay. All right, man. We're doing this.
We still got people watching.
Uh, my good friend was in here watching. He was commenting. Um, Hopefully we'll work out the bug for next week and figure out what went wrong with Facebook. Because
Yeah.
that's where my majority viewers are, is in the the NASCAR Daily group. Um, so I guess we'll do. I was gonna do a spot on, spot off segment, but I'm not able to do that this week. So some topics. The big topic from Talladega is, and we're shifting into stage two now. The big topic from Talladega was the Joey Logano incident with his roof caving in and his comments he made about the the package for restrictor plate racing. Um, a lot of people want to talk about that. I fully agree with him, and uh, seeing what we went through with Ryan Newman was tragic for everyone. Even people who are outside of the sport were like, pray for Ryan Newman, stay strong
Yeah.
for Newman. So maybe that's going to change with the next gen car. Do you know anything about that? Do you have anything to say?
I don't, and I don't know what Joey's referring to. You know what I mean? I mean, how many
He
flips have you seen where you're getting hit in the roof? Two.
he said he was one hit away from being Ryan Newman. Like if another car had hit him in the roof, he would have been Ryan Newman.
Well, I mean, you're in a race car, and I'm trying to be politically correct. Um, Quit whining and just drive the damn car. You
Hmm,
know what you're getting into when you get in one. I get it. You don't want to get hit in the roof. Nobody does, but that's the chance you
yeah,
take when you get in a race car. He's not the first one to flip. He's not going to be the last one. You know what I mean?
that's true.
Um, and
I,
if he never would have flipped, we wouldn't be having this conversation, But
mm,
what can they
well,
do to make that any put another bar there? And then if you get pinned in the car, they got to cut through another row bar to get you out. And what if the car's on fire? Then what? We need to remove that bar because now we can't get them out fast enough.
that's true. He was referring to the package that they have where that giant spoiler is
Oh yeah,
causing.
the spoiler's terrible.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I don't. I hear so many people complain about it, and I, you know, restrictor plate races are. If you're a NASCAR fan, they're your favorite. It's
I love
it's
them.
you gotta. So we want to see the safest, most exciting, but best package that NASCAR can offer. And I got to tell you, I'm not sold on this package, but I liked the idea of it that a guy couldn't get out. Five cars couldn't break away. You know that it helped. I don't know, kind of
Kept the pack
manipulate
together.
the air. Yeah, it kept the pack together. Yeah, I'm all for keeping the pack together.
Me as well.
Um, so
The only thing with keeping the pack together, you get a chance of wrecking the whole field, but
like we
that's
saw
what's
at Daytona,
exciting about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, I feel like every time we go to Talladega, there's going to be something controversial that pops up. Last time we were there, it was the yellow line rule with the
Hmm.
Benedetto and Hamlin and all that, and they didn't make any changes to that either. So that was
Yeah.
disappointing.
Yeah,
Um,
I want Matt DiBenedetto to win so bad. He's that should be the answer to one of them questions you asked me. Who's my favorite driver right now would be Matt. I like the guy. I wish I'd have got the pit for him, but I didn't. I know him. He is a great dude, and I'm pulling for him hard, man. Every weekend I want him to win, but you know, Is he in the best equipment? No. Is he in good equipment? Yes.
Yeah.
Is it the
His
top equipment? No. But he's
no,
doing damn good in it.
but his run last year was so impressive
Oh
in
yeah.
that 21 car. It's unheard of for someone like him to come up like that. And man, how many races did he almost win last year? You know, um,
Year
so
before too, in the
sorry.
95 car. The year before too, in the 95 car.
Two consecutive years back to back in mediocre, B and C cars. So
Yeah,
um,
you put him in a Hendrick or a Gibbs Cup car, he's going to have 3 or 4 wins a year. I promise you.
um, we're trying to get this 2311. Oh crud! Hold on. Sorry about that.
No,
Something
you're good.
popped up on my phone. I tried to I tried to get rid of it. But we're talking about this 2311 team and the possibilities of adding extra cars, at least one extra car. Would you put Eric Jones, Matt DiBenedetto, someone that has veteran, more of a veteran than Bubba Wallace. But and nothing against Bubba. We want to see, what could this 2311 team become? Because I was really bummed that Jones got dumped pretty much by Gibbs when he was out there winning races, making the playoffs. I don't think he made the playoffs last year, but I think that weighed on him pretty heavy that he had to go out there and prove his worth to get a ride for this year. Um, I think that had a lot to do with it. There was a lot of pressure on him. Um, but yeah, man, Matty D, of my underdog drivers, like Chase, Joey, Blaney, Byron, those are my main cup guys I root for. But my underdogs, Matty D is at the top of those with, Ross Chastain, the Watermelon Man, being from Florida, and Bubba Wallace, of course, and Tyler Reddick. I love Tyler Reddick.
Yeah.
Um, but and again, going back to that Austin Dillon story I shared, after Austin left the selfie booth, Matt DiBenedetto came in, and I'll tell you, I don't root for the smaller teams. I really keep my focus on my favorite guys. I don't really shift my focus all that much. So I didn't really notice him, but I kept hearing things about him and people talking about him, and I heard about him on like Race Hub and all that. And so he's standing there, and nobody is in line to meet him. And he had just signed with the 95 Levine, and no one is in line to meet him. And he's standing there, and I'm like, you know what? Let me ask this guy a question, because I had a question. What was up with the Matt? They called him Matt DeBurrito. DeBurrito. So I was like, let me at least just ask him, why do they call him DeBurrito? Because I was curious. But so I ended up walking up to him, and I talked to him, and I asked him, and man, we just talked like you and me are talking.
Yeah.
And of all the NASCAR drivers I met in my life so far, Matt has been the coolest.
Yeah.
And I swear, I mean, he probably would have said no, but I felt like him and I could just crack open a beer and just hang out there all night talking.
Yeah. No, he's a
So,
good dude.
and I told him, I said, look, I like that 95 car, Casey Kane, and you said Casey Kane. I loved Casey Kane. I still have his rookie car up here. I'm trying to sell it now, but it's sadly it's not worth anything. To me, it's worth a lot, but I just wanted to state that to anyone who's listening.
Oh, my wife loves Casey Kane.
Oh, I bet she does.
In fact, I got him to FaceTime my wife at Watkins Glen.
Did you really?
Yeah, he FaceTimed her. Yeah, it was really cool of him.
How bad did she freak out?
It was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy because her whole family was there watching.
Oh,
like
really?
off to the side. They were like, "Oh my god," because my wife loves the guy so much. And I was
Can't
like, Casey,
blame
come
her.
here. I was like, FaceTime my wife, please. Like, yeah, man. Grab the phone. And you sitting there talking to her, and everybody's like, "Oh my god!" But he was cool. It's sad that he left the sport the way he did. Just
So
gone.
heartbreaking.
Yeah,
That Indy win though, I'd say is his greatest accomplishment.
absolutely.
Um, and the Coke 600, that's a gem. But
Oh,
I mean,
dominated that race. I was at Hendrick when he dominated that race. The 5 Quaker State car.
oh no, I think he won in the 9 car too,
He
didn't he?
did. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I got the
yeah,
ring for when he dominated in I think it was a Coke 600. I don't remember.
yeah,
I think it
yeah. I
was the
can't.
Coke 600.
I have a hard time remembering his 5 years,
Oh,
because those were the years where I was drinking heavily and partying a lot. So I struggle to remember those years. But no, yeah, no. Casey won the Coke 600 a couple times, but man, of all the races he should have won, I feel like in the twilight of his career to get that Brickyard win, that was a nice little cherry on top, and I'm
Yeah,
so
so
happy for him.
it was the Coke 600 because there's the ring right there from it.
That's so cool that they give all of you guys a ring like that.
Yeah, Mr. Hendrick's pretty pretty amazing guy. Great owner, great person, great guy to have in your corner. He actually held my daughter when he opened up the museum to the employees, his family museum, and just super nice guy. I was honored to work for him, and like I
It,
told you before, it was hard to leave that place, but you know, I left for a lot of money, and I had a good time where I went. So
well, here I am talking to you about current stuff, and it just occurs to me you worked for Rick Hendrick.
yeah, yep, for many years. Yeah, trying to remember how many years it was. 6 or 7, I can't remember.
Jeez.
They go by quick, man. They really do. You know, but it was a damn good time there. But like I said, I got recruited to go to Waltrips, and I don't regret that for one moment because it was a great place to work as well. And I wouldn't got to do the things that I got to do there if I didn't
Mhm.
leave. So I would have never won a championship with Kyle Busch, manufacturers championship with Kyle Busch, and a truck championship with Eric Jones. That would have never happened because Toyota, Chevy, never would have happened. So
Where was the Kyle Busch championship? Where was that?
2014, it was the manufacturers championship.
Oh, okay.
That year we won 13 races in the truck series.
Oh, and oh, okay. They were still giving points out back then. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense. I was like, you didn't mention Gibbs. I didn't realize you went to work for Gibbs, but
No, I never worked at Gibbs. I did a
too
couple
bad.
I did a couple of nationwide races for Gibbs. Actually, it was the monster car. Sam Hornish Jr. drove.
Sam drove a monster car?
Yeah, he drove Kyle's car.
Oh, the 54.
Yeah, well, no, it was
It was a
I think it
51?
was an M18 car. Well, we ran Monster at the time.
Well, Kyle had to run his own car in Xfinity and trucks because they kicked him out of the trucks, and that's when he started the 51 or the 54. It was the 54
54.
Monster in Xfinity. Yeah, that's why we still have the 54 occasionally, but that's why he's got those numbers in the truck series. When he did that to Ron Hornaday, man, that was wild. That was
Yeah,
crazy.
you hooked him.
Yeah, so that's where that came from. I don't. That must have been the years when I wasn't watching. It had
Yeah, it was the 18
Hornish
car. I
over there.
remember it was a non-companion race. Um, and we pitted the Gibbs cars. So I only did it a couple times. I could have done it more, but I was wanting that weekend off. You know what I mean? I'm like, I ain't gonna go do that because a lot of the Cup guys that normally pit the Xfinity car, they didn't want to go. You know. What?
It's I'm getting winded. And I'm taking all this in because I'm just like I'm soaking it in. It's so cool. This
Yeah.
is for me. This is the dream. This, and that might be a small dream to some people, but just to talk to you, someone who's been there, is, I'm taking it in right now. So
Yeah, man. I mean, it's not every day that, and I'm nobody special, but I know where you're coming from, where you're talking to someone that actually was in the pits and, lived that life. Yeah, it's I could see where you're kind of flabbergasted about it, but
so I meet drivers and I'm like, hey, I want to talk to you, and most of them don't talk to me. They don't turn around. They don't want to talk to me. And you're just like, hey, Casey, FaceTime my wife.
well, another thing is I got a shirt on, you know what I mean? A Hendrick Motorsports shirt, so it's not like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
some
yeah.
jabroni.
No, no, no. I know. I'm just saying the difference between you and me. But here we are hanging out, talking about racing. This is
Yeah.
incredible. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't wait to get some guests on here. I mean, I know you name drop a lot, so I'm not getting my hopes up, but definitely would love to have even just I've heard some people say, like I said, Ben Rhodes, Johnny Sauter, I've heard, is a possibility. The guy I know says he knows Rudy Fugle, or his
I know
spotter
Roof.
Tab Boyd. He
I
said he
know
knows
Rudy.
Tab. Well, he was talking to me about Tab. He said Tab Boyd could get Byron in October to come on. That for me would be, I would cherish that. Um, and it's not a for sure thing, but just the idea of that, I try not to get my hopes up. But even if we could start, like I said, in the truck series, or um, if you saw my Ronnie Russell interview, I loved my Ronnie Russell interview, and I talked to him. He's willing to come back on the show and do a part two, and I think you two guys will get along because you're both pit crew members. And
Ronnie Russell.
yeah, yeah. I sent you my interview with him. He worked for Richard Petty's fan club, and then Richard Petty noticed him and brought him to do his merchandise truck, and then he became like one of the guys at Petty Motorsports. He worked in the pits, and then he went on to own his own truck, and he was a co-owner. I think he said with Remy,
Yeah.
and Bill Lester drove for him, so he knows Bill Lester. And Bill said he'll come on as well. And I'm so excited for that because I didn't get to interview Bill. I had my friend do it because my friend had written this beautiful segment about diversity in NASCAR, and that was something that was special to him and his family. So I arranged it. I put it together. I put my name on it, but I'm not the one that got to interview him. So he's promised me another interview. I can't wait for that. That'll be my first time talking to a driver.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, I won't get my hopes up, and I won't like ask you to ask anyone. But I just hope we can get some guests on here, and I hope we get more than one viewer like we've had tonight.
Yeah. I'm sure it's just got a
And unless
word of
this thing
mouth, man.
isn't unless this thing isn't accurate, and there are people watching, and it's just not telling me.
No, it'll say it up in the corner. One
Yeah.
viewer, two viewers, three viewers.
Okay. So we will talk about Matt Collig entering the Cup Series, and almost talked about it at the start of the show, and I was going to mention before I get into college because I think that's something you and I can really go back and forth with. I'm just going to do quick news, real quick. It's just small things.
Yeah.
Um, Valvoline extended a sponsorship with Hendrick, and they're going to be the main sponsor for Kyle Larson and William Byron going forward. I can't, I love seeing Valvoline on the '88 car. I love Mark Martin's car, so I love Valvoline being in the sport. Um, NASCAR to run iRacing event on Chicago street course could lead to an actual race. The update I got was that they are exploring running a race in Chicago in coming years, sources say, confirming that the upcoming iRacing is a virtual dry run for an eventual real life version. Um, so that to me, and it was just announced that in Miami they're doing a Formula One Grand Prix, and that's my neck of the woods. They're doing it at Dolphin Stadium. I'm beyond thrilled. The Hard Rock Stadium, sorry, it's now the Hard Rock Stadium now that they put like I don't know 60 million into it, whatever it was, the renovation they did. It's a beautiful venue now. It does, it used to look run down and kind of like just a place for drunk, crazy people to hang out. And now it's a high class stadium, and the area is a little rough. But to see those Formula One cars, race around there, that's going to be incredible. I'm so excited about that. So
Yeah.
I don't know what you think about having a street NASCAR race.
Uh, don't think it'll be wise at all.
No,
No.
what are you thinking?
Uh, they're stock cars for a reason.
Well, it's a road course format. I mean, it's a straight road course, so it's no different than any road course. But
Yeah, but it's just not my appeal.
hmm, I think it
We
would bring. I think it will bring in more people from the Miami area than Homestead ever did. Because Homestead is an hour away from downtown, the stadium's only about 20, 30 minutes, northwest. So it's closer to the area, and people like that, it's going to bring in people, and if they'll start being a fan from going to that event, that would be awesome. Um, well, it's in Chicago, so they're not talking about Miami, but Chicago. I don't know. I mean, you're downtown in the middle of a busy city, and there's a race going on, and it prevents business and people trying to get to their jobs and stuff, and the noise. If it's outside of the city, maybe I don't know if it's gonna be downtown exactly, but
well on
I think
Sunday
it's
there's not gonna be too many businesses open if they run it on a
true.
Sunday.
True. Didn't think about that. But yeah, man, I feel like if it brings people out and and it like the dirt race, they're trying like all that. Man, what did you call it? All that attention we got for the dirt race. Like if it if people start talking about it, it starts trending. Hey, there's a NASCAR race in downtown Chicago, and we always do the you've probably been to the I don't know did they let you go to the award banquets?
I haven't been to one.
Oh, that's a bummer. Um, so you guys should absolutely be there. Um, uh, but they do the burnouts, and they used to drive down downtown, well, not downtown, New York City. They used to drive stock cars through New York City, and it would draw huge crowds of people. Las Vegas Strip, and now I think it's in Nashville. Um,
Yeah.
So I say there's definitely that draw there. There's that audience. There's people will come. Oh, what's this? And then maybe that's how you hook them. We want to reach more areas. And I don't know if you'll get that in the Chicago area. I don't know anybody from there, but um, yeah, man, I think I'm excited about it. So we'll see we'll see. We'll keep an eye out for the developments and everything that's happening about that. But here is the official report from colleague. I'll read this. We'll briefly talk about it, and then I have one fan question for you personally, Alan.
Okay.
Um, we definitely know this is from Matt Colleague talking to NBC Sports. We definitely know we're going to run at least one cup car. If we have the right situation, we certainly could run two cars or do it on a part-time basis, kind of like what Spire is doing. Um, Colleague is running 10 cup races this year, and it's targeting the next gen car for its debut. And that's where, um, hold on. And then they say, we want to be one of the bigger teams in NASCAR, Colleague said. That is our goal. We do want to dominate. We do want to win races. We look at the other organizations out there like Gibbs, Penske, and Hendrick, and we want to be like those organizations. And I'm so excited and so proud of him. And again, so happy that Chris Rice liked my comment. But with the next gen car debuting, I heard it's going to be less cost expensive wise to run a cup team. So, and I even heard Dale Jr. has interest in. He's thinking about it. He's not promising anything, but he said, I think he said something like, if he were to ever get in the Cup Series, now would be the best time to do it with this next gen car. And that is going to segue me into our only fan question of this week. Um, this is from my good friend Danny Pritchard,
Hmm.
who's in my Xbox League, and he's a big fan of our podcast. Um, he would like to ask you, Alan, how do you feel about getting rid of the lug nuts and going to spindle style wheel?
I think it is a bad move. Period.
Nothing else on that, just period.
Well, you're taking guys' positions away. Um, from what I've heard, you're not going to need a carrier. The changer's going to carry his own tire out. So you're eliminating a position. You've already eliminated one position of a carrier, and now
Mm.
you're going to one lug nut. It's now you're just going to hear whomp, and the tire's on. Where before you get that raw wham, 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 wham.
Hmm.
Exactly.
I love
You
that
know,
sound.
and I can't tell you how many fans I have talked to at every racetrack where like we freaking love pit stops. And they just keep dwindling them away. They just keep messing with the pit stop. Like,
They want it shorter and faster, shorter and faster.
but like I tell everybody, this ain't Indy cars. They're not Indy cars. They are stock cars. Every stock car you ever see has 5 lug nuts. I don't like it at all. I really don't. It's taking away from what I grew up watching and what this sport was built on. People watching. They don't want to see one lug nut. They're not watching any cars or
No,
Formula One. They're watching stock cars. They want to see the pit stop. They want to see what they've been seeing for the last 40 years. So that's my
I don't. I'm sorry, but I don't like the, like you said, the spindle style wheel, um whatever that frame is.
yeah, it's
um
the hub.
Hub, thank you.
Yeah, I
it
don't
looks
like it at all.
it looks like an IMSA car. I
Yeah.
mean, are we running stock cars or IMSA cars? It's
Yeah, I think they're going to make a bad move and lose a lot of fans doing what they're doing, but they think it's the right move and it's in our ball court. But me, as a guy who worked in the sport, was a fan of the sport, I am a fan of the sport. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
okay.
And they're thinking it's going to be cost effective, but it's a damn hub, but they're looking at paying guys $150,000 a year to put a tire on, another $150,000 or $180,000 for a guy to hit 5 lug nuts. Now they're only hitting 1 lug nut, buying all these lug nuts. I mean, it's a lot of cost that goes into it, but really, what are you saving? You're still buying the rims. How is that going to hold up? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
How is 1 lug nut going to hold up? I mean, I guess they do in any car, but I really don't know, man. I don't like it, period.
Would it be more dangerous with the issues we have of, like if you miss one lug nut, you have a loose wheel, that sort of thing? Would it be more dangerous if you only have one giant lug nut and you don't get that thing fully tightened?
Well, your mentality is going to change from I don't have to hit 5 lug nuts. I got to hit 1. So now your focus is just on 1. So you probably won't have loose lug nut because you only
Okay.
got 1 to hit. So you're going to make
I
sure
got one.
one's tight.
Okay.
You're not pushing the envelope trying to go fast to get them all tight. You only got 1.
Okay.
So it's probably going to be different.
These are things that I wouldn't think of, so it's great
Yeah,
to have you here, man.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
is there a way we can? Is there a way you can comment and put your podcast in the show, or plug your sponsor, whatever you need to do, or
Yeah, let me know if it pops up.
there's anyone that's watching, you should definitely follow this guy after you've heard what he has to say. These stories to me, they're incredible. I love hearing this stuff. I could listen to this every day. And I look forward to working with you going forward. I think this was awesome. I'm actually tired from doing this. It's like I'm physically tired.
Can you see that chat, or can anybody else see it?
I don't see it pop up in the comment section. Let's see.
I
There's
got it on.
more.
I think
Oh,
it's
you
in the
put it.
private.
You put it.
Yeah, it won't let me do anything else.
Okay, so it dropped me out by accident, but yeah. Put that in the chat and share it where you will. And viewing this on YouTube, this is Stick Shift Mike 24. If you follow me on NASCAR Daily and Facebook groups, I I do try to do live broadcasts of races, and I've heard some people really appreciate that for when they're out or they can't be at home, and it's a way for them to watch and enjoy. I do it because, as I was telling Alan over the phone earlier, I grew up commentating on baseball, football. At first I was just imitating them because I imitate a lot of people. What I hear comes out. Um, and then being passionate about NASCAR, I started doing it, especially like on a side by side or a commercial break where there's no commentating. I'm like, okay, I want to talk about this guy's going here, this guy's doing that, and what I see. So I wanted to be something, but absolutely I wanted to be a commentator more than you know. I think even more than being a driver. I think it was more realistic that I could one day be a commentator. Um,
For sure.
so I do those broadcasts. I don't know if you've caught some, but I love talking during the race, and so I do that. I do that for myself, but the fact that people love it and are enjoying it, I don't know if they're enjoying me talking, but they're happy that they're able to watch the race. So Facebook groups, NASCAR Daily. We're talking news. We're sharing memes. We're just being passionate about the sport. During the pandemic, was really heartbreaking to be without NASCAR on Sundays. That's why I love the Pro Invitational. A lot of people didn't like it because it was a virtual video game. But man, I was just happy to have my drivers out there competing. I don't care what
Yeah.
they're doing as long as they're competing. If my 9 car and my 24 car are on the track leading, and Dale Jr., come on. Like, who's going to
Yeah.
sit there and be like, I don't want to see Dale Jr. racing against Cup guys? I would pay to see that. You
Yeah.
know, that to me was exciting. And then I started the group NASCAR Daily. I started it because I didn't have people on my friends list that wanted to talk about racing, and I could find a group, someone else's group to join, but I still kind of post things, and my voice kind of went unheard. And I found about 5 to 10 people that if I post something, they were gonna respond to it, talk about it, and there's a lot of trolls too. You
Yeah.
can't control trolls in other people's group, but it's my group. I control what comes in, what goes out, and it just grew. It started as a group chat, and now it's a group. I'm thinking about turning it into a page, so maybe we can get more viewers and more. I don't know. The more passionate people I have about racing, the happier I am.
Yeah.
So I'm really blessed to have as many people as I have. I was hoping they'd come out and support me tonight. I don't know that they didn't, but I love you guys anyways. You're my family, my NASCAR family, and um, Alan, you said to me earlier, we can only go up from here.
That's
So
right. We're at
we're
rock
only
bottom right now.
fuel the jet.
Yeah.
Gotta pay your dues. Gotta start from the bottom. But I'm loving being my own boss and creating my own content and doing what I want to do instead of somebody else telling me what I have to do. So,
Absolutely.
all right, man, I'm gonna hop off of here and
I wanted to shout out to my sponsor. If I don't know if they'll ever see it, you know what I mean? But
yeah, absolutely.
it's Fab CBD, and if you go on fabcbd.com, enter in code word Steele, you'll get 15 or 20% off. And then my podcast that I run, I have military guys on and other pit crew members, and it's the Alan Steele Show. If you go on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. And I can't wait to do more podcasts with you, man.
And that promo code is STEELE, right?
Correct.
Okay, I was just gonna say that for fans trying
Yeah,
to.
and it's good stuff, man. It's I never believed in it. I didn't, and I'm not just promoting it. I take it I took one on the show a little bit ago. I opened it up, took one. I take a lot of the nighttime gummies because of my PTSD from the military. I have a hard time going to sleep, and I don't anymore. I mean, 30 minutes I'm out, and it's some of the best sleep I've gotten in quite some time. So they sent me $1,500 worth of free product, and
Wow.
the guy believed in me. So I display it, I use it, and I believe in it because it's helped me a lot. So yeah, if you go to fabcbd.com, code word Steele, and I want to say it's 15 or 20% off, which it's a lot at the end of the day. So
hmm
and it's a great product. So yeah, man, I've enjoyed it. What did we do? 2 hours, 14 minutes coming up on.
It's only my second longest episode I've ever recorded, but now that we're live, I want to publicly tell you how proud I am of you for your service, and I thank you for your service. And very good friend of mine, Nicholas Quinones, he's on YouTube here and he's on Instagram. He is an independent contractor, what he calls a contractor wrestler now. He's an independent wrestler. trying to make a career for himself in pro wrestling.
Cool deal.
And he is a veteran. He served, and he struggles with PTSD just like you do. And he is a big motivator in my life, almost like a life coach. And hearing his story and everything he's overcome to becoming a local, to me he's a local champion. He's not in the
Yeah.
WWE yet, but to see him winning belts and titles and out there competing and making a name for himself, I think it was his first customer to buy one of his t-shirts. So I fully support him. Blaze the future, hashtag blaze the future. um, yeah, so I support with him. He got me interested in, and this isn't a sponsored segment. I'm going to talk about this because it's something I'm passionate about, and I support them. They don't support me. The Till Valhalla project is
Yep.
very important to both of us. I have actually have my 22 a day wristband over here. I was wearing it every day, but I was starting to have wrist problems. Um, but I buy the t-shirts, and I try to raise awareness as much as I can. So if the Valhalla Project hears about this, I'm always giving them free shout outs. That's a cause that's very important to me. So
Yeah, absolutely.
just want to let you know that, and let everyone watching know that that's not a plugged ad segment, but I will happily plug them for free anytime. But I am looking for sponsorship for this podcast. I do want it to grow. I want to get some of these big name guests on here, because I know you guys want to hear these stories. I'm sure you want to hear these stories. I can't be the only one. Like Ronnie Russell told me this story about Richard Petty falling asleep during a race.
Oh God.
He fell asleep during a race and hit the guardrail and woke up, uh, shook him awake and went on to win the race. So
Wow.
I love these stories. You can't get them anywhere else, and
That's right.
help us, help us bring them to you. Watch Alan's show about the unsung heroes, the pit crew members. Hear their stories. I'm gonna start listening to some episodes, and um, always leave us a question if you want us to answer a question about the upcoming weekend or anything going on, and we'll make sure to answer them. Get that to you. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up here. We're gonna say stay safe during Corona. Do what you got to do, and y'all take care. God bless.
All right, Mike,
Thank,
man.
thanks
It's a
again,
pleasure,
Alan.
man.
You rock, man.
All right, you